action. Welcome back to another episode. It is episode 16 of Rip Through It podcast now. You probably see me down here under my house, and you guessed it. That's exactly where I am. I've got grass laid out here. I've just got a gym that I've ordered, a home gym from, again, Faster. Gene out there is hooking me up with all the bells and whistles. So I'm going to be doing half under the house, that, and then half podcast area. And you probably noticed that, oh, fucking hell, Rob Dog, where is Matho? He's getting back from Japan tomorrow, and we are about to embark on a very, very busy 2025. We have so much to cover this year, and we are looking forward to getting stuck into the AFL season because guess what? Next weekend, it is the Indigenous All-Stars versus Fremantle Football Club. The squads just got announced. They looked that good. I'm actually considering flying over to Perth next Friday, spending the weekend there and watching this game because I want to get involved. I want to see some footy. I haven't had this feeling for a few years that I'm actually excited for an AFL season. I'm getting toey. I'm getting so toey. And I think it's going to be a whitewash, that game. The Indigenous All-Stars are going to absolutely flog Fremantle. If they don't, doesn't really matter. If they do, warning signs for Freo getting ahead of themselves? Doubt it. It's a fucking preseason game. No one really cares. They just want to see some kangaroo leather getting booted around Optus Oval because it's an exhibition game. Speaking on the Indigenous All-Stars, one player in particular, you know what, John Ralph, I will take my hat off to you, mate. Because as an ex-player, I know a little bit about a little bit. And as a journo, you've obviously done your bloody homework. Good on you. Kudos for that. He has dropped an article recently that says Cozzy Pickett has been texting saying, watch out, boys, I'm going to be wearing the purple in a year or two. And after reading and scrolling through, I'm like, damn, how the hell does he know all this? But have a look at the boys he's named. Quinton Narkle, Shai Bolton, Son Michael Walters, and then Luke Jackson. Come on, Jacko. Nah, it's all he say, she say. But if Cozzy Pickett ends up at the Fremantle Football Club next year, and if they do like they should do this year and play some good footy, you'll be thinking, fuck, that is a tantalising forward line. Oh my God. And Melbourne fans, before you start getting butthurt about it, let's be honest, you're not going to be able to keep Cozzy Pickett. If he wants to go home or he wants to get traded, it's probably going to happen, especially if Petrarca and Oliver, probably the two of the biggest names of the club, want it out. It's just probably going to happen. No hard feelings. It's business. Injury update brought to you by what the fuck? It just keeps getting worse and worse for these AFL players. If you feel any tightness in your soft tissue areas, hamstrings mainly or calves, leading into the preseason campaign, let the physios and medical staff know because motherfuckers out here getting injured. We have another handful of pretty good players too. Matt Gulfi, hamstring strain, 2 months. He's just busted his ass for that whole preseason and then you're going to miss out on the fun shit. Liam Jones, high-grade hamstring strain, 2 months. Probably going to miss the start of it. And he's no young spring chicken. He's probably going to take a little bit longer to get his body right and going. Adam Treloar, All-Australian squad last year, dominated the season, got his flowers, didn't make the team, but got his flowers, got a pat on the back. He's had a series of calf strains this preseason, so he's going to be on ice for a little while, and it's just not good doing those calves. I know they're shit. They're just infuriating. It's an old man's thing. And one I missed the other day is George Wardlaw. Everyone was like, George, Wardlaw, look at him. Yeah, my guy, he's on a high-grade hamstring strain. That's 3 motherfucking months. If you're a first-year player or an old superstar in the competition, make sure when you wake up, you're doing your extras, you're doing your recovery, and you're letting your physios and medical staff know that, hey, I'm a little bit tight today. I might not need this session. That's all it takes. Take it from me. 247 games. You listen to us. Oh, you know what it is, that segment. This is called Joe Ask, and my guy Joe has posed a pretty good question. He says, how do you make bank playing local footy? Now, recently this contract offer has been doing the rounds on social media, and it's kind of just sent everyone into like disarray. Like, how do people get that much playing local footy? It must be one of the biggest name players ever to have laced on footy boots to get this offer. No. So the contract offer goes a little bit like this. It was a $300,000 offer to play. 90k to play and incentives, 160k job. It could be a tradie, it could be a truck driver, he could be just sitting at home, or it could be on the phones doing a call center shit. Who knows? You're not actually out there busting your ass because they don't want you doing a fatiguing job if they just recruited you to be the best player. They're throwing in a 40k car. Every club has pretty much a joint sponsor with their local community, some car dealership. Like, this is how it works. When I signed with Morningside, I got a Toyota car for the year. It was dope. Thank you, Downtown Toyota, for that. That was actually really cool. And if you want to give me another car again, I'll would greatly appreciate that shit. Anyway, private plane to games. Now that screams a player who's from the state, who's probably in the city and is going out to a country town, because they're probably not going to give you a private jet from fucking WA to Victoria. They just go like, oh, he's in Melbourne and wants to go out to Colac. Yeah, sweet as. We'll get you a PJ, baby. Or Albury-Wodonga. Bang. I know that happens for a fact, but I'm going to give you a little rundown of how players who leave the AFL system can make absolutely bank Joe, and here's how it's done. So if you're straight to the AFL and you have a bit of notoriety about yourself, you have some following on social media, you weren't a bad player, you got a bit of name for yourself, you can make minimum 70 grand at a club straight out of the AFL system. Minimum. To beat the salary cap, they give him an assistant coach role, which he probably doesn't have to do if he's a superstar. He will just do it at training or whatever it may be. Then they can pay you for social media. That's a job now, obviously. A little bit more money on the table. That's how it works. And don't get me started if a club has poker machines, because that is the biggest loophole in history. Oh, you're in the car park after training? How's this little duffel bag looking, mate? Pretty fucking good, thank you. And then there is another way for players to earn absolutely bankaroonie, is playing one-off games for country towns. All you gotta do is have a good manager or contacts who are in that industry, who know country towns, who would do a playing fee charge of X amount, and then you do a sportsman's night. So if you're a player who had, let's say it is Dusty, he would just do a one-off game for any team in country Australia, charge the shit out of it, then do a sportsman's night, sell some memorabilia, keep the memorabilia profits, and then he's probably, if it was Dusty, he'll probably make, actually I wouldn't even fucking know, that's ridiculous numbers. I'm gonna say 50k. For someone within the 200 game mark, or is actually gun and he's not old as hell, but he has stories galore coming out his ass, he could charge between 5 and 10 grand, do the sportsman's night, sell memorabilia, they fly you in, fly you out, that's 10 grand. If you do that for 12 games, you do the mathematics. You are earning like, I'm going to say minimum 70 grand between June 30 cutoff for these players. Then you just sign with a team for the second half of the year on a base salary, matches, incentives, or whatever it may be. But it's seriously that simple. If you had any career in the AFL and you're generally a good player and you've got stories to tell, you can make fucking money. Some of these country towns have buckets of cash. WA towns have the mining money. SA is a homegrown farmer's retreat. Vic country. They just have generational wealth. But you get the picture. Who do I think it was? Well, the word on the street is, actually I haven't spoken to anyone about this. It's similar to what I've seen Favola get in his post-AFL career. But he thoroughly deserved it. He sold out games in Albury-Wodonga. He was kicking 100 goals a year. He was doing this and that. Other than that, I've got no idea. Pies star Jordan De Goey said the Pies have a better list than 2023 premiership year. Let's take a look at that, Jordan. After seeing that post on Cinch Footy, that got me thinking of another article I saw recently, which talks about the average age and the average games played for a team going into a premiership season. And well, let's try and get that little breakdown. The Pies will enter this year, 2025 season, as the oldest and most experienced list in the AFL. Their average age player is 26 years of age, and the average games played on their list is 102 games, which is actually pretty. That's a sweet spot. Now, the Maggies were top 7 in both these categories going into their 2023 season. So obviously they've got a little bit older. Have they got slower? Who knows? They've recruited 3 players who've probably pushed that up a bit more. They've got Harry Perriman, they've got Tim Membray, and they've obviously recruited Dan Houston, who are all like 26, 27, and 30. So is their list in a better position? Probably is. If they stay fit and healthy, they will be right up there with the best this year. And I have no reason to believe why they couldn't win a premiership, as long as Nick Dacos was playing. Now, my old mates, the Brisbane Lions, were top 4 in both these categories in age and games played going into last year, and they won the motherfucking premiership. And in 2025, my guy, they are just behind Collingwood. They are second in both these categories with the average age of 25 and 85 games average. Now, obviously, I'm going to be like, yeah, they're going to win the premiership back-to-back, baby, so it is what it is. But they recruited well, they look very hungry, and the boys are all coming back from ACLs. They're ready to fucking go. And then I had a look at the Hawk Tours, the team that everybody is sucking off, including myself at the moment. Last year, they came from butt-fuck nowhere to win a semi-final. But this year alone, they have jumped from 17th oldest team last year, which is like second youngest, obviously, to equal 10th in 2025. And they were the 16th most experienced team last year. And now they've cracked the top 8, baby. And that's obviously because they recruited gun players in Tom Barras, who's 29, and Josh Battle, who's like 26 or some shit. And that takes their average age of their squad up to 24 and their games experience to 71. So they're in the bracket and they're just going to get better, ride that confidence wave. And if they suck this year, who gives a shit? If they do well, then it'd be fun to watch regardless. And then Geelong Cats, you're probably going to know where they sit. They're top 4 for both. They've got the blueprint for how to stay as a successful finals team since I can fucking remember, to be honest. They have been finals, granny, finals, miss one, finals, granny. They just keep making it. And because they're the best at poaching players. So they've either got the best recruiters or they've got the best accountant known to man, because they just keep finding a way to get good players in, old players who everyone thinks washed up, come over and then play their best footy there. Good shit, Chris Scott. And then we look to the bottom of the ladder and then I'm like, what's Richmond doing this year? Great question. Thanks for asking, Robbo. Well, it's safe to say their glory days are over the poor Tigers, but they had their time in the sun. They just had 3 premierships in a space of, I don't know, like 5 years or 6 years. Fuck yous. But obviously in 2024, it's called a rebuild, baby. They dropped from 4th oldest to 16th oldest list in the AFL coming into this year. And now they are the least experienced team in terms of games played in 2025 when they were sitting at 10th. So obviously a lot of players retired. They traded a few players and now they're just on that rebuild. They drafted like 10 fuckers coming into this year. So they're just going to sit by them, see how they go. They're going to blood a lot of youngsters this year and it's going to be fucking good to see them lose every week. Also, I want to touch on the saddest day in football that we've had in a long, long time. My assistant coach that I had for 5 years up here at the Brizzy Lions passed away. Dale Tapping, absolute legend. Love this bloke. Every day I went to training, he made me smile. We had a good laugh. He was doing midfield coach for us back then. Yeah, it was devastating to see that news today. I hope Kel and his family are doing well. But yeah, that was a very tough news to take. So yeah, genuine guy. If anyone got to meet him, you would understand how sad this news is. And he battled, but yeah. It's a tough one to see, but yeah, that's a shit one. Yes, that's sorry to end on a shit note, but that's one of those days in footy. Excited for footy. Starts back up next weekend. We have Indigenous All-Stars versus Fremantle Football Club in Perth. I'm going to fly over and do some content, so if you're going to the game, make sure you let me know that you're there. Come say good day to the camera because it'll be pointed at your face with me with a microphone. Very excited for that. Matho's back tomorrow, so we pick it back up next week. We're going to do up under this house. It's going to look cool as shit. Get the gym put in. Get the beast mode in here, teach me somehow to do some weights. I'm excited. Big shout out to Joe Fortune. Thank you, my major sponsor. You guys are the best. And peace out, motherfuckers. Oh!